Building wealth is not about getting lucky with one big investment or finding a shortcut to financial freedom. It's about making small, consistent, and smart decisions over time. But what I'm about to share with you in this video right now will feel like a shortcut because it is indeed the set of rules or the cheat code that the wealthy have used to amass a lot of wealth. And this is something that if you're on your journey to wealth building or financial freedom someday, you have to pay close attention. Because a lot of times, most people believe you have to work a lot harder, you have to save money, you have to invest money, you have to budget. These are some fundamental things. These are some principles, more common principles. But I'm about to do a deep dive into the 7 uncommon principles that will help you on your wealth building journey, that will accelerate your wealth building journey. And if you practice this, if you put this into implementation, if you implement these rules, you have yourself to thank in years to come. But before we dive in, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, welcome. Consider subscribing now to join this amazing community to stay informed on the helpful tips for your financial wellness and success. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about today is something that most people fall into. And this gets even the best of us. This is the 30-day rule. So number 1, the 30-day rule. This rule helps check impulse control. And this is how it goes. If you're looking to purchase anything substantial, anything that's over 1% of your net worth. So let's say you're worth $100,000 and you're looking to purchase something about $1,000. You want to wait 30 days. So take 30 days to assess the thing, to think about what you want to purchase. If you're worth $1 million, $10,000 would be the 1%. These are some rules that the wealthy implement when it comes to accelerating their wealth. And this just helps make sure that you are not spending unnecessarily on items that are not moving you forward. So this mostly comes with consumer items. If you really want to purchase an iPhone, or you want to purchase a new car, or you want to purchase a house, depending on your wealth level or the level of wealth that you have, you definitely want to implement this rule. Because most people spend at impulse. Most people just spend money as they walk through the stores or they walk through the malls. So this will help you keep that in check. So number 2 is equity over everything rule. Now this means that you have to seek ownership. If you're in the market for a job, or maybe you're looking to dive into a side hustle, you want to prioritize having equity, some type of ownership. Don't prioritize a job or side hustle based off of the income that you make. Don't aim for higher salaries. Higher salaries are good. But if you want to be in the best position to succeed financially, think about equity, think about ownership, think about profit sharing, think about revenue sharing, think about stock options, think about owning your brand. These are some key elements that will propel you into a wealthier future. And these are the things that the wealthy focus on. Most people focus on salaries and the wages, and these are the things that get taxed the most. But the wealthy understand that in order for you to get wealthy, you have to have skin in the game. You have to have ownership. You have to have equities. Because guess what? The taxes on the ownership or the gains from your ownership are not the same as your earned income. So number 3 is the pay for speed rule. If spending money saves you more time, and you would invest that time into making more money or learning a skill that improves the chances of earning higher income or earning more money, then it is worth the cost. And this is something that a lot of poor people or broke people or average people don't really understand. But the wealthy implement the pay for speed rule, and that's how they keep getting richer. Because time is very limited. We have 24 hours in a day. You have the same 24 hours as Bill Gates, as Oprah Winfrey, as Elon Musk, as Mark Zuckerberg, you name them. You have the same 24 hours in a day. That's the one thing we all have the same. But when it comes to implementation, we don't have the same utilization of our time as they do. Some of the services you could pay for to save yourself time would be meal prep, cleaning services, lawn mowing services. Another good example when paying for speed saves you a lot, gets you on the better side with your money would be when you're paying for a faster flight. It's just astonishing how much time people spend at the airports on layovers just because they're trying to save $100. or $50. In some cases, you have people trying to save $50 and they hang out at the airports for 2-3 hours. If you can get to the place you need to get to faster and get things done in time to be back to focus on other more important things, then paying for speed is very much worth it. Another thing that I caught myself doing a few years ago was not paying for internet or the Wi-Fi on the plane. So you spend 2.5 hours, 3 hours stuck in a tube in the air, and you have work to do. You have things you can do online. You have emails to check. You have things to send out. You have workflows you have to, get through, to-do list. And saving $10 on a flight, just so I don't spend the money and wait till I land and kill 3 hours in the air, make sense. So I came to a realization that a lot of wealthy people, they look for ways to buy time. They just pay for speed. So $10 for getting a lot of tasks done that will save me 3 hours that I can reinvest into improving my skills and doing other things. I mean, it's a no-brainer. The proof is in the pudding. Number 4 is the cost per use rule. So what this rule does is it helps you differentiate between value and pricing. Most people purchase things just based off of the price. They don't think about the utility value. How much usage will I get out of this item that I'm purchasing today? So a good example is if you're in the market to purchase a blazer, a jacket for work or for networking or for business or for whatever the deal is, a $200 jacket that you're going to wear 20 times a year, the cost per use on that $200 jacket that you use for 20 days in a year is basically $10 per use. So that's $10 per usage that you get out of that jacket. On the other hand, if you're going to purchase a belt for $200 and that belt, you're really going to use that belt for maybe 2 times a year, it's $100 per use. So when you're purchasing things, you have to think about the cost per use, not just the cost of the item. What this helps ensure is that you are spending money on things that derive the most value. So again, this is a hack that the wealthy use, or a rule that the wealthy use to maximize their wealth. They don't spend on things that are frivolous. They don't spend on things that don't have actual utility value. The lifetime value of their money stretches when you consider this concept. So we're going to dive into number 5, and I need you to pay close attention. And I've also got a gift. Before we talk about number 5, I've got a gift for you, because I'm only sharing 7 of these uncommon rules, these lesser known rules when it comes to wealth building. But I've got the full list, and you can download the full list using the link in the description section below. So this is about 12 rules, 5 more rules on top of the 7 rules. And the remaining 5 are very transformational. These are powerful rules that you have to have at your fingertip. You can always reference it. So I've got the PDF in the comment section below. Be sure to check that out. Number 5 is the asset first rule. Now this means that for every liability you purchase, you have to have an asset that will cover the cost of the liability. If you want to purchase a brand new car, remember you're going to have the monthly maintenance costs, you're going to have the insurance, you're going to have the gas fees. You have to keep an asset on the side that pays for that liability. Whether you're financing the vehicle or not is not the question here. And if you do decide to finance the car, you have to purchase something. This can be a rental property that cash flows positively enough to cover the cost of the vehicle. Or this could be a dividend paying stock. So whatever the deal is, the rich and the wealthy understand that they have to have an asset that covers the liability expense. And why is this? The reason for this is it helps you get away from using your earned income, which is your active income, the income you earn off of your time, your sweat, your blood and tears, your hard labor. It keeps you away from using that income into purchasing things that don't grow your wealth. So the wealthy use their active income, their earned income to keep growing their wealth. And that's how they stay richer. And the way they do this is from what I just told you, the asset first rule. So in order for you to keep growing your wealth, you have to think of using your earned income to purchase assets that pay for your liabilities. Number 6, The 1% rule of investing. Investing is a great way to build wealth, but it comes with risk. If you're going to spend money on investing, you have to pay close attention to this. If you're going to invest in anything, this 1% rule of investing states that you should never risk more than 1% of your net worth investing in any high risk or speculative asset. This can be cryptocurrency, depending on how much knowledge you have. This can be penny stocks or any hype or trend or wave out there when it comes to investing. So the 1% rule shields you and helps you retain a lot of money and minimizes the extent of financial damage that you would do on yourself. And the wealthy understand this. Whatever asset class it is that's considered very high risk, they don't spend more than 1% of their net worth chasing highs or chasing trends or experimenting with all these, investment vehicles that are very high risk. So again, this is something that I believe if you're really on your journey to building wealth, you need to pay close attention to this and you need to implement this in your life. You want to talk to your financial advisor. This does not eliminate that part, but never invest more than 1% of your net worth on something that's very high risk and very speculative, because that's a good way to derail you from your financial goal. Number 7 is the 100% rule for learning investments. Before you invest in anything, high risk, low risk, whatever you consider the risk level, before you invest in any asset class, before you put your money in any asset class, it is worth spending 100 hours in learning and studying that asset class. This can be real estate, stocks, ETFs, whatever the heck it is. Before you spend your money or putting your money into any asset class, you want to take the time to study, to read, dig up all the information, do the research on anything that's out there, white papers related to that asset class. And this is as simple as you spending 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week for 5 days a week, 10 hours a week for 10 weeks, studying the asset class. Of course, you can allocate more time to studying the asset class, but this is very crucial, and this will help you eliminate making speculative investments. Just remember, the fastest way to lose money is investing in things you don't know anything about. And that's something that most top investors, most wealthy investors, successful investors will never recommend. So again, 100 hours or don't invest. The choice is yours. So what are your thoughts on these? Like I said before, I've got 5 more in the comment section below. You can download the full PDF with the 12 uncommon rules for investing and growing your wealth.